Home prices are not crashing. And if you've been watching this show, you would know that because I've literally been saying it for months. Guess what? Home prices still aren't going to crash. Want to know why? Okay, let's define crash. Adjustments are not a crash. Many areas have seen price reductions and corrections. When the interest rates went up so high so fast, a lot of buyers got priced out of the market. And when buyer demand cools off, so do prices. However, cooling does not mean crashing. The spring market for our area is typically the busiest time of year. And while the spring market got off to a late start, it's absolutely here. There's just a lot of moving parts. When homes in our areas are priced well, and when I say priced well, I mean priced at market value, maybe even slightly under, because we're in a phase where we're trying to price ahead of the market because it is changing. When houses are priced right, they sell. They often get multiple offers, and they often sell for more than the asking price. On the flip side, when homes are overpriced, they sit. And a lot of times when they get a price reduction, or 2 or 3, they still sit. So while higher interest rates have caused a lot of buyers to take a step back and pause, the rates right now that we're seeing around the 6s are still below the average rate over the last 50 years. And while some buyers have been scared off or quite frankly just priced out, there's still not enough buyers out of the game to change the inventory, meaning there's still more buyers than there are houses for sale. And you know I love a good graph, so here it is. Here's a look at inventory. It's a buzzword you hear all the time. What it basically means is how many homes are currently available for sale. In years past, we have had tons of inventory. Currently, we have hardly any inventory at all. And yes, in recent months, that inventory is climbing up, but it's not climbing up fast enough. And I will be completely honest in saying it's going to take years. Yes, years to catch up. And until we start to see a lot of new homes coming available on the market, whether that's new construction or owners deciding it's time to sell, we're not going to see a major dip in prices. Because quite frankly, if there's enough buyers out there to buy the houses with competition, why would a seller plummet their own price? So let's just play a hypothetical game and say that yes, the market is going to crash and houses are going to be plummeting in price. 2 things would have to happen, and those 2 things would have to happen at the same time. The first thing is that buyer demand would have to drop dramatically. And for that to happen, we'd have to see a drastic increase in interest rates. So if we woke up tomorrow and suddenly interest rates were 8, 9, 10, 12, 15%, we would see a massive pause on the buyer side, which is the demand part of this equation. The second thing that would have to happen is we'd have to see something happen with the inventory. Essentially, homeowners all over the country would have to decide that they needed to sell their house right now. So buyer demand drops because rates increase, inventory goes up because sellers need to sell, and there's your crash. Those 2 things would have to happen in massive amounts at the same time. I don't really see either of those things occurring, which is why I don't see house prices dropping dramatically. I honestly think what we're going to see is going to be a bit of a slow burn. Buyers are slowly getting over the sticker shock of seeing a 5 or a 6, maybe even a 7 as their interest rate. And sellers are still kind of digging in their heels because they're locked in with a mortgage at 3 or 4%, and it's going to be hard for them to let go of that to buy something else. So if you're waiting for a crash, I think you're going to be waiting for a while. And what I want you to ask yourself is, how many years of homeownership, how many years of wealth building, how many years of built up equity and appreciation are you going to give up while you wait for something that may or may not come? And there's a lot of you out there that are both a potential buyer and seller. You're in a house that you would love to get out of. Perhaps you want to upgrade to something bigger, a better location. Maybe you need to downsize, but you're terrified to give up your super low interest rate. Well, there's a way around that. You've got equity, and I think it's high time you learn how to use it. I'm Lindsey Johnson, your resource for all things real estate. See you next time.